ManyChat and it's Active Campaign. We're live now, and it's like 18 different things. And
then, you do like ManyChat in? Oh, are you pushing out like broadcasts to this?
Correct. And what I haven't figured out, by the way, is how to link directly to like the interview. So I have to like send it to the group and then I pin it to the top. So like it's always like it's so many things. Like I get nervous before I go to an airport, just thinking about having to like get to an airport. And this is the same feeling in life to shake it out because like
it's like all this
all the stuff that could go wrong, right? But I want to say that I remember. I mean, I looked at our chat, and I think like it was like a year ago or something. I was like, "Damn, Nico, you're exactly where I want to be." Like I remember being in the Starbucks.
I remember you sending me that. It was on like a webinar.
Yeah, like I was watching your webinar. I was in Starbucks and I couldn't figure out my webinar. And I was like, did he just quote me? He did. And like, and at first I was like, that guy looks like me. And I realized that's what it was. And I sent it to you. I was like, that's absolutely fantastic. That's like so fucking cool.
Oh yeah. And then, yep.
Yeah. And it was like, it's your actual webinar. What was that webinar about? Do you remember? Was that like
it was for a Facebook ads course.
Gotcha. Okay. Was that the first course you launched or no?
No, that was like that was the second one I launched. So the first one we can go into like if you want. It looks like there's people watching now.
Yeah.
First course I ever launched made $0.
Yeah.
That was my own product. The second one, which was the Facebook ads one, I think I sold like one. I sold like one, like maybe two. I sold one full price, and then the second one, like I had to like, I didn't really like believe in myself or the product yet. So like this one person was on the fence, and I was like, oh, like I'll give you a discount. And they were like, okay, I'll get it. So it didn't go very well. The third one was a copywriting course. That one did like all right.
Didn't Spencer include it or something like that?
Yeah, he actually bought the course when I launched it like more than a year ago, maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then a couple of months ago or something, he bought that actually reminds me, I need to reach out to him. He bought the rights to it to use in his group. Yeah.
That's so cool.
So now he's able to like use that in his group, like I think it's like a free thing in his group. So now everybody that's watching knows that you can get it for free there. But
the first course you did bombed. The second course almost bombed. The third course was a copywriting course, and that kind of worked. And then the fourth one you did, that's like what really took off, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, before I go into that, we need to go back to the beginning when you had that 9 to 5, right? And like I had my 9 to 5. It was the first big job I ever had. It was a company in Dallas. It was in Plano, Texas.
Wait, we talked about this. I live in Dallas.
Yeah, it was don't say the name, but it starts with an E and ends with Ericsson, right? Yeah, so that company, right? So I worked for them. And it was my first big job out of like my MBA program. I was like, yes, I made it. Forever company, 401k. It was going to be amazing. And I was their Lean Six Sigma and business process guy on their sales and marketing team, which is a long title for just lead sales ROI. Like I did all their like marketing tech, right? And I ended up getting fired 3 times. Fired 3 times in 9 months.
Really?
Like division laid off. It was a running joke between me and my friends because I would get fired. Then they say, just kidding, you're transferred. And like the whole time I was doing like side work for the vice president of HR, she's like, no, you're transferred. She transferred me like 5 times, right? Like to get ahead of these layoffs. And after like the 3rd time, I was like, I'm done here, guys. Like at this point, my girlfriend moved to India. They took back the apartment. They took back the car. I moved back home with my parents in their spare bedroom at 30. Like my 9 to 5 experience sucked.
Yeah.
What was yours like?
Mine was bad too. Like it was, it was rough. See, so here's the thing. Like externally, everything was great. Yeah. Right. So like so for those of you guys who haven't met me or who've never like heard of me, I grew up in California. I went to college at University of Southern California, so in LA, which is like it's a pretty good school, and like a lot of big companies like they recruit there for people who are like just about to graduate. So that's kind of the situation that I was in. I actually studied chemistry, which like of all things, which is like literally unless you want to be a chemist, like it's not related to anything.
Not useful.
No, it's really not. But I ended up getting recruited. Like I remember it was like literally the week before like my college senior like finals. And I was like, oh my God, like I don't have a job. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't want to be a chemist. What do I do? And I got the offer like got the job offer like on my birthday, which also was like the day before my very last final started. I was like, oh my God, okay, like I'm set. Like I don't really have to study anymore, even though
I'm
I still studied.
Not a failure at life yet. My parents aren't that ashamed of me. I'm gonna be okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like such a relief, and so I ended up working at a tech company. It's called Oracle.
Yep. And Oracle. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like a software company, and the location that I was going to be at was up in like San Francisco Bay Area. So literally like the tech hub of the world.
Yeah.
So I was like really, really cool. I was actually really excited at the time. I had about like 1 month between graduation and like getting into that 9 to 5. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to be working at this cool it's cool, like big tech company. And like my parents were all proud.
Yep.
And everything. And so it was really, really awesome. Like at the beginning, and it's like a well-established like software company. So like they take really good care of their employees. Like the pay is good, and they had like all these perks and everything, and like all the people who got hired.
Did you join when they had the new CEO? Not the original guy. Fuck, what was his name?
Larry Ellison.
Yeah, it's the new guy. It's the dude from HP now, right? Mark Hurd.
Yeah. That happened like after I was already there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but it was like shortly after. Like I was still working for them. But yeah, so I got all excited, and like I was gonna go like move up to work at this big fancy tech company, and I went in like first week. We had like kind of like training.
Yeah.
So we weren't actually doing like the actual real work, but it was literally like day 4 of the training. Like not even the first full week. Like at the end of that Thursday night, like I picked up the phone and I called my mom and I was like I cannot do this. Like I hate this.
This is
like
bad.
This is not for me. Like I can't do it. And she was like, "Oh my God, like what's wrong? Like why are you saying that? You were so excited." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. Like it's so boring. Like literally after 4 days, like I feel like I'm gonna like shoot myself."
Yep.
So literally, okay. So anyways, fast forward. I ended up sticking it out for a year because basically what they did, it was really bad, right? Because like it was kind of like money driven, because they gave you this really big like signing bonus.
Yeah.
But just to like plus your regular salary. So like I said, the salary was pretty good, and they also gave you like a pretty fat signing bonus. Yeah. But if you left, I feel like they knew, because if you left before 1 year, then you had to give back the signing bonus.
Oh, they know the analytics.
Yeah. So they knew that you were like gonna hate it and probably want to quit right away. And so I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna stick it out for 1 year. And so I did. It was really like I feel really bad complaining, because like it was a pretty like we got a good salary, all benefits were taken care of, and like really it was not for someone who's like just looking to like be comfortable and like have a stable living and a stable income, like there was really nothing wrong with it. But it was something that I just in college, like I was used to doing things kind of like that were like mentally stimulating and challenging and exciting, and that job was like the absolute opposite of it.
Yep.
Like if anyone here has ever seen that show Silicon Valley, where like I've only seen a couple episodes, but it's like shockingly accurate, where like people are just like they get paid like these really high salaries to stay in these jobs, but there's not enough work.
Yeah,
like they're literally just like sitting there like doing nothing. And like that's what one of my best friends who worked there, like the whole year, she was from Stanford. Mm-hmm. And we were in the exact same scenario. That's why we were such good friends. We were like, oh my God, like we're quitting. Like day 365, we're both quitting. This job sucks. It's so boring. And we literally would just sit there like pretending to do stuff.
Yep.
Like for someone like, and again, I feel like bad, like kind of knocking it off, because it really was like in so many ways it was a gift.
Yep.
But it really just, for someone who knows that they're capable of more and like wants to do more, it's really just like a buzzkill.
So you were in a job that like just didn't match you and your personality, right? Like mm-hmm. without regard to like the money, without regard to the 9 to 5, you were just doing something that just wasn't you, right?
Yep.
And that was my same experience at Intel. So I worked for Intel in Santa Clara, mm-hmm. and they shuttled us between Portland, Oregon, and San Francisco Bay, because housing was so expensive in San Francisco Bay. They said, we're going to pay you less and just keep you in Portland. I was like, fine, right? What do I care, right? And I ended up working for Intel for a year and a half, and then I moved to Ericsson in Dallas, right?
Okay.
But with Intel, it was like somewhat exciting. In Dallas, it was like you're waiting to end, right? And I got it was horrible. And around this time, I was reading the book by Reid Hoffman about like he helps found LinkedIn and PayPal Mafia and all that stuff. Reid Hoffman, and he talked about how like the employer to employee relationship is inherently dishonest. Like, and I was like, I lived it because I got recruited saying, "You're going to work on what you want. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be so great." And you sit down and you get oriented, right? And the paperwork says you can be fired at any time for whatever reason. You get to transfer you all across the world and adjust your pay for whatever reason. I was like immediately it broke. Like if that was somebody you were dating and you're like, what happened to date number 1 and date number 2? You'd be like, this person's bipolar, right? But that's a corporation, right? So either way, you work for them. After a while, you quit, you get fired. You say that's the end of it. I'm not doing this anymore. Then what happens?
Yeah. So then what happened was, okay, let's kind of fast forward to like the last couple months. I kind of started to realize, okay, like I know I'm going to be doing something else. Like I need to like, you know, break free of these golden handcuffs, if that's what you want to call it.
Yep.
But like, I wasn't the type of person that like wasn't going to at least have like some sort of an idea of what I was going to do. So I actually I read this book called The 4-Hour Workweek. Probably a lot of you guys have read it.
Yep.
Yeah. And so that kind of got me thinking like, okay, there's some way out there to make money online. Like, I don't really know what it is yet, but like there's a way. So I was kind of like determined to figure out some way to make money online. So the first thing that I did before I quit like my day job, I ended up buying this course. It was like, I can't remember what it was called. It had something to do with, it was Kindle Money Mastery is what it was called. Basically, it was like
Amazon Kindle.
Yeah, so it was like a $47 little course that taught you how to create and publish ebooks on Kindle. And it was actually a really, like for someone who's just starting out, it was actually a really good business model because, with Amazon Kindle, like you don't have to, there's literally like no upfront cost to like publish your book on their website. Like you just create the PDF, whatever, and you like upload it, and then, you can theoretically like start just making sales.
Yep.
So it was a very like, it was a good like first way to try and make money online, but I really was not making that much. It was probably just like a couple $100s per month. And then, so basically when I actually ended up working at when I ended up working at like 2 like tech startups. Like, so I quit that first job that I just like absolutely hated.
Oracle in San Francisco.
Yeah, Oracle. I quit that first one. That was like the absolute worst. And I was kind of, at the same time, I was like experimenting with like make money online things, and kind of like, I was like halfway in with like these other 2 startups. I didn't last very long at these other ones either, because I knew that it was just like a means to an end. But then I started making money, a little bit of money with like this, Amazon ebook thing. And I was like, okay, at this point, I'm just like completely fed up with working for someone else. Like I can't do it. And like they know too. Like I was telling you yesterday, like there was one point, like my very, very last job, which was not at Oracle. It was at like a tech startup. I would say like about a month before, I was like completely checked out. Like the boss could tell. And like one day he asked, like, he's like, hey, like we're actually pushing out this new launch for like a software thing. And I was on the QA, like the software QA team. So I had to like make sure like there were no bugs and stuff. And he was like, we need like one person from the QA team to stay like all night, like to just make sure everything doesn't crash. And he was like, I need you to do it. And I was just like, no. Like I straight up said like, I can't do it. Like, no.
That's from Office Space. You're just like, no, I don't want to do that. Nah.
And like he was like really mad, but like he didn't say anything. And so like someone else ended up doing it. And then basically, I already knew I was like, about to leave, and I was making a little bit of money online. And I was kind of planning like in about 1 or 2 weeks. That was right before the holidays. So it was like Christmas and then New Year's. Then right after that, I was like, okay, like I had in my head like the day that I was gonna tell them that I was gonna leave. And then literally the same day, it was so weird. The same day, like my manager, or actually like the manager above my manager, like requested like a one-on-one meeting with me or whatever. And it was like at the end of that day. Yeah. And I was like, oh crap, like what's that?
Was it a Thursday?
I don't remember what day of the week it was. But like, God, honestly, I feel like it was like actually a Monday or a Tuesday or something.
Yeah.
Why?
No, because like I got fired on a Thursday, And like I end up reading like at Google News, they always fire on a Thursday because you can take Friday off and like you're not like angry because you took a Friday off type thing. But if they fire you on like a Monday or Tuesday, spend the whole work week going, oh, I could have been working and making money and blah, blah, blah. But that could be some like psychological crap.
I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it was like they requested this meeting with me like at the very end of the day, but it was my manager's manager. And so I was like, okay, I just got to tell my manager like before then that I'm leaving so that like I have the upper hand, because that was literally the same day that I was going to leave anyway, which was super weird. But anyways, I told her and she was like, oh, like I saw it coming, blah, blah, blah. And anyways, so that ended. And then I was just kind of like free. I didn't really, like I said, at that point, I didn't really have a super stable income, but I had some money saved up and I was confident that really the only thing that I had was like, I had the confidence and the belief that like some way, somehow it would work eventually. Yeah. I didn't know if what I had right now was the way, but I knew that it was possible. I knew that other people were out there doing it. And so like at that point, with a little bit of money that I had saved up and my like, you know, somewhat like micro success with making some money online, I was like, okay, like this is enough. Like I'm quitting. Yeah. So that was it. I quit that job. I still lived in California for about like maybe 2-ish months or so. And then I actually moved to Japan.
Oh,
for 3 months. Yeah. So that was really
more expensive. Got it. Okay.
No. Okay. So here's the funny thing. Everybody says that. And I thought that too, but it's absolutely untrue. It's like actually the opposite. Really? Everything there's, I mean, I feel like you can really like make it a lot more expensive if you want to like, you know, dine at the fanciest places and like stay in the fanciest hotels. But if you try to like make it affordable, it's actually much cheaper. Gotcha. Like the food is so good. Like the sushi is like for like $4, you can get like a quality, like nice, like $30 sushi meal here. Yeah. For like $4 or $5 there. It's crazy. And like the housing is cheaper and like, yeah. Gotcha.
So you work at Oracle. This job sucks. You download and you execute on this Kindle marketing mastery book, and it proves to you in the universe that you could sell stuff online. Yeah. While this is happening, you have like 2 startup jobs. Both suck. One day you wake up and you're like, that's it. And they say, see you later. Bye. You move to Japan. Right. Yep. Is that when you said, I'm going to start my agency? Or is that when you just kind of reset everything and figured out Nico 2.0?
Yeah, that was really a period of more like resetting and figuring out how I was going to make something work. Cause like I said so at that point I hadn't really like settled on whether I was going to do an agency model or anything. Like I didn't even know what that was at that point, to be honest. I was just kind of like, okay, I've got to figure out some way to make money online, and like, it's got to happen pretty quick. Cause like I had some savings, but like I was currently making zero. Yeah. Like at that point, or like a couple $100s a month, basically zero. And so at that point, when I was literally the whole time I was in Japan, like it was a really cool, like valuable time overall, but it was also there was also a lot of like uncertainty and stress with it, because like I was just in a completely different environment. I didn't know anyone. I mean, I didn't like, my parents weren't there like anywhere nearby to like kind of like, give me like pep talks when I was having like moments of doubt about whether the whole entrepreneurship thing that I had just dove into like 1,000% is actually going to work. So it was like all this like self-doubt, like, oh my God, am I going to find a way to make money online? And like, I was kind of just really like looking on ClickBank for like affiliate stuff. I was like, okay, should I just like do affiliate marketing? Like, and then I was seeing like a lot of just stuff on YouTube. It was kind of just like, I would say like a solid like 3 months of just like doing all the struggly stuff like right at once. I was like, okay, YouTube, like person makes like $30,000 in one day. Okay, like I'm gonna try and like do that. Yeah. And then like it didn't really work, and then I was like, okay, God, like day 2, like I got to move on to something else. So it was really just a lot of uncertainty for sure.
Gotcha. And so when did you officially say? I mean, you started off doing Facebook ads for local businesses, right?
I started doing copywriting, actually.
You started doing copywriting. Got it.
Yeah, that was the very first thing.
So did you get, I remember I interviewed Danny Velez way back in the day, and he started doing like $25 copywriting jobs. And he grew his like fee to like $7,000 by reading old school books like Gary Halpert that I didn't even know was a thing. and the dude with the upside down horseshoe mustache, which I totally effing forget right now, and like the grandfather. The grandfather's to Frank Kern, like those types of people, right?
Okay.
So as you were going on this like figuring out Nico 2.0 journey, did you all of a sudden fit on like copywriting and say, I'm gonna do copywriting? Or did you dabble and fail a bunch of other things along the way? Like, did you have a Shopify store and say, oh, that didn't fucking work, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say the best way to put it is like, I dabbled at like a couple different things, like really all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I just like, they weren't really working enough for me to settle on any one of them. So yeah, I definitely went through the dabbler phase for like a solid like 3 or 4 months. I was just like trying everything, like build an email list, like do affiliate marketing, like promote stuff on YouTube. Yeah, so I was doing that. I did like I said, the Kindle ebook thing was like really the only way that I actually made money. And it's actually, it still makes like, I don't know, like $100 a month or something. Like it still is making it for me, which is pretty
money.
Yeah, I know. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so I definitely like had those couple months where it was just like really constant struggle and like constant uncertainty of like moving from thing to thing. Gotcha. And then what I would say, or sorry, go ahead.
No, continue.
Yeah, so then as I was kind of going into, this is kind of where things started to change. I was on ClickBank a lot. And I watched some YouTube videos on how to find like what are actually good, like how to tell which products on ClickBank are the ones that are making money so that you can promote those. And so I started noticing like there were 3 or 4 products that I was like, okay, these ones are doing well. Like I'm just gonna like check them out.
Right.
And so I started to actually like, and they were kind of like those, not like, I wouldn't say scammy necessarily, but like, you know, like when you see the long form sales page with like the video sales letter.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, it starts playing and it's like how to make like blah, 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 or like how to
save $400 a year by recharging your own batteries or something.
Yeah. Or like how to achieve your dream life with no effort. It was like all of that sort of stuff. And like, I ended up looking, there was some like way that you could kind of figure out how much they were making. And some of them were making like hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. And like right away I was like from this thing totally like, it sounds like,
I remember watching, I guess we saw the same Russell Brunson onboarding video, right? Where like he takes you to like the ClickFunnels CEO and he's like, just look it up. And I looked it up and I was like, I don't believe this is true. Like that has to be the most elaborate lie I've ever seen. Like there's no way in hell you're selling $200,000 on how to save $4 a month with chicken coops. Like there's no way, right? But it's true.
I know.
I don't want it to be true, but it's so true.
So so that's kind of what I started. That's kind of what I did. And I noticed there were like, I don't know, 3 or 4 products that were kind of, I would say like the ones that I settled on that I was going to try and figure out how to promote and make money.
Yeah.
But what I started to notice is like, I was reading like the long form sales pages and like listening to the sales videos. And I was like, okay, I got to figure out like how to promote these. But as I was reading through them, I just started to notice like very similar, like incredibly similar patterns between all 4 of them. Like they were all like kind of the same, saying the same sort of thing, even though one of them was on like personal development kind of and like mindset and like how to have the mind of a millionaire. And then other ones were like how to make like, you know, $30,000 per month with an email list. But they're literally like, the message was the same.
Yeah. Like when you're reading these like the letters, like these long form, they've got to be like 10 scrolls down, right? Mm-hmm. You're seeing patterns.
Yeah.
Right? You're seeing the same things happen happen again and again. And is that when your brain said, I can do this? Or is that when you kept moving forward?
That was at that point, I was like, there's something to the way that these specific sales pages are being written that's making them so effective. And so that was basically just like I had that realization right there. I was like, okay, there's something having to do with the copy right here. That's it. And then at that point, it was kind of at the same point where I was starting to realize there was one specific online marketer who like really just resonated with me. Like I would follow all of her, like read all her emails, like read all her blog posts. And she offered like online business coaching.
Yeah.
And so at that, and like I saw her testimonial, she was getting really good results. And I was like, okay, like at this point, like, I don't know what to do. But like, I trust her, like, I've been following her for a while. And like, so I put in an application to like be her coaching student and to like work with her one-on-one.
No shit. You took the plunge. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I was afraid, like I said, I was making like about 100, whatever, 100, basically $0 per month is what it felt like when I was like doing all this struggle and like traveling around the world. I was essentially not really making an income. And so it totally freaked me out. But like after like 3 or 4 months, I was like I just don't know what to do. Yep. So like this girl, I trust her like above any other person that I've been following online. She seems to know what she's doing. So like, I'm going to like just go for it. And I applied, and it took her like 2 weeks to get back to me. And like, you know, you can see if you have the specific Chrome plugin, you can like see if they've read it or not.
Yeah.
Like the email or whatever. And I could see that she read it. And I was like, I kept like responding, and I was like, please, like at that point I was kind of just like I was kind of hanging on like her being my coach,
right,
for me to like feel like I could actually like start doing something, because I just didn't know what to do. And like I had this interest. I was like, okay, all these sales pages and sales videos, they're making a ton of money.
Right.
It must be the copy. Maybe I could do copywriting, but I don't really know. And then I was like, okay, this coach, like, just like help me. It was like all at the same time. I was like, I need someone to help me like put the final pieces together before I can actually like start doing something. And so ended up like, long story short, she ended up like accepting my application, and we started working together. It was, I think she was like $597 a month. Mm-hmm. So it was like, it wasn't like one of those like, $40,000 like business coaches or whatever. Like it wasn't, I wasn't going to be like in debt or something like right away, but it was still enough of an investment for me at the time. Like never having bought anything online except for like one $47 course. I was like, okay, like it's in your hands, like help me do this now.
It's so weird, like how our brains work. Like you and I have seen both the same Dan Henry, Russell Brunson, and Billy Jean's videos. Like, look, it's $1,000 and we'll get you up to 6,000 a month. Oh, I don't know if I can do that.
I know.
It's just too much. And you know what? It's our stupid brains, because I've said that to right in front of people, like dead, like to my webinar coaches, like, Jeff, I can get your webinar up and running, and I'm going to charge you. And it was like 5 figures of, I don't know if I can do it. He's like, Jeff, you're going to make like an F ton more money. Like I coach all these people, like, I don't know if I can do that. So it's not a person thing. It's a brain thing. Like we will always think that it's not worth it. It's not going to happen. But you took the plunge, and she's charging you $600 a month. She shows you what to do and how to do it. And did that lead to your $25,000 client, or was that later on?
That was a bit later on.
Gotcha.
But I still she totally changed my life, like completely. Like I still like follow her on Instagram. I don't think she does business coaching anymore, but like we still stay in touch. And like she had a baby like with her husband, and I literally I sent her baby like a care package and like a card when she like had the baby, because that's how much of an impact like she had on my life. Like within, like I would have to actually like go back to my testimonial for her and like see what the numbers were, but she totally like within the first month, like I made like probably like $2,000 or $3,000.
Beautiful.
And that was from like zero. Like before that, like I didn't know what to do. Like I didn't know how to make money online. Like first month, literally like the first coaching call, I felt like my mindset was like, I just was like, oh my God, like I have faith, like this is going to work now. Like I like, it was literally just like that very first coaching call that like changed my life. And then working with her, sorry.
So how did you find that first $2,000 to $3,000 worth of clients?
Yeah. So what she had me do, she was like, okay, Nico, like tell me like what you're interested in, like what do you think you're good at, and like do you have any sort of direction? And I was basically like, okay, well I think copywriting is really cool. Like, I'm actually like good at writing. I like it, and I've been following like actual specific like sales and marketing writing too to sell products. So I think I could do that. And she was like, perfect. Like that's actually like what I started doing too. Like before I started doing like blogging, she was like a copywriter too. And so I was like, oh my God, okay, perfect. So she was like, let's just roll with that. Like, don't doubt it. Like you're doing copywriting. And I was like, okay, cool. And so then with that, she kind of like coached me basically on how to, or she's like, have you ever like, basically her mindset and her, which is really like simple, but also very effective. She was like, okay, have you ever done anything that's worked, that's gotten you a result?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, well, actually I had like just a week ago or just 2 weeks ago, like I found someone on Facebook that said that they were looking for like copywriting help or whatever. I think it was just like, it was in like a random Facebook group.
Yeah.
They didn't even like, we didn't really have much of a conversation, but I was like, I just remembered seeing that. And I was like, oh yeah, well, I found this person that needed some copywriting help on Facebook. And she's like, okay, cool. Like we're focusing on Facebook is going to be your platform for right now. I loved how like, she was just kind of like, okay, like we're making the decision now and it's done and you're going to do that. And like, let's keep moving. And I think that's kind of what helped me get the early momentum. But so basically I doubled down on like Facebook. Sorry if that was, I don't know if you could hear that.
Good. Yeah, go on.
Okay. Anyways, we doubled down on Facebook. And yeah, within the first month, like she kind of helped me clarify my message and like how to, talk to prospective clients and then how much to start charging at the beginning, which was just like, I think my first couple of clients were like $150 or like $300, like $500 or something like that, like maximum. And so like, it was a lot of clients. Like it took a lot of work to like make it to $2,000 to $3,000. But I did it.
Yep.
And so that was kind of like right away. Like at that point I was just like, okay, like I'm sold. Like I'm going to be working with her for a long time. We ended up working together for like almost a year.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And she got me to 10K within like, it was within like 5 months. Like
that's so cool.
A 10K month. Yeah.
It took college 4 years to get you to 10K a month. And this lady did it in less than 6, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you got your first big client by just being part of some Facebook groups where your best future clients exist, interacting with them, and then followed like a sales process. I call it conversations to clients. Like you have a conversation and say, I can do that in exchange for money. And they go, great, how much? It's this amount. Okay, fine, great start, right? It's not that hard once you've dialed in like your message and things like that, right?
Yep.
But tell me how you ended up getting in touch with this hypnotherapy thing. Like the headline reads, how you turn your interest in hypnotherapy into a course about storytelling, copywriting, and then sold 1,000 copies. Like, what?
Yeah.
Right? What is that?
Okay. So yeah, like it's kind of crazy like how it all worked out. But essentially, like before I ever started, before like when I was back in my day job, I kind of just started reading about like hypnotherapy. And actually my aunt at one point, she was a hypnotherapist. So I kind of had, someone in the family like had told me about hypnosis and hypnotherapy. And I was like, oh, that sounds like pretty cool. Like I'll just like read about it.
Right.
And so I started just reading a couple of books casually on like neurolinguistic programming and like hypnosis and hypnotherapy and all that stuff. And I was like, I didn't necessarily know if I wanted to make a career out of it, but I was starting to get into personal development because I was like starting to realize the day job wasn't for me. Like there's something more out there for me. I don't know what it is, but like personal development, Tony Robbins, like let's start like becoming a better person.
Yep.
And so I was getting into that whole thing. And so then I started to realize like that there was this really cool, like interesting link between like language patterns and like the way that you say things to yourself and kind of like your mindset and then like the results that you end up kind of creating down the road. So, it was really kind of like a light interest at the time, but essentially once I started working with her name was Sarah, like my coach. Once I started working with Sarah for a little bit longer, I was basically telling her like, oh, you know what? Actually, I kind of just realized that I think why I'm drawn to copywriting is because there's like all these like, I'm actually noticing that there's a lot of like neurolinguistic programming and like hypnotic language patterns that are in the sales copy. And that's why they all look the same. And that's why all the videos, sales letters sound the same because they all use the same hypnotic language patterns. And that's why they're all making like hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars per month.
And so for anybody watching, a better version of that you may be able to understand is like Russell Brunson's perfect webinar or Jason Fladlian's 4 Step to his webinar. It's probably not what he calls it, it's what I calls it. Like every great story you've ever seen in a movie follows a pattern by Joseph Campbell. You just look up Joseph Campbell. That's the story. I don't care if it's Star Wars, Harry Potter, Matrix. Every great story and every great movie from Lord of the Rings all the way back in the day follows Joseph Campbell's. And it's a version of what Nico's talking about. And internet marketing terms, the perfect webinar is a great example. I'm going to blow your mind. 3 secrets, epiphany bridge, close. Like every webinar that works follows that. It's the same way with sales copy, same way with letters that work and convert. Same way with books that just draw you in. It's the same thing, which sounds horrible, but it's so true. But yeah, continue. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think you absolutely said it perfectly. Like it's really just like a framework, right?
Yep.
And it's just like a bunch of patterns. But I think what I thought was so cool was it wasn't even like, yes, there are these like broader patterns, like at the big level, but it also came down to like literally like just one specific word or like just changing like a series of words. To me, that blew my mind that like that could actually make such a big difference. Like using, like there's this thing called like change of time words or like causal links, and like literally just one word, like using the word because for an example, like that will like using the word because will convince people like 80% more of the time than if you don't say the word because, even if whatever follows the because is the same.
Wait, just by adding the word because makes people believe you 80% more often?
Yeah. Literally just the word because. I know, but there's literally been like studies, like you can look it up. Like it might not be 80%, but it was some really like high number.
Yeah.
So like you guys can literally look that up after, but like literally just using the word because before any reason that you're going to give will convince people like a big amount of the time more, which is so crazy. That's just one example.
So I've been using micro commitments in my sales pitches where this makes sense, right? They go, oh yeah, it's like, you can see how this impacts your business, right? They go, oh yeah, would you like to see how much it costs? You bet. So I try to get like 3 yeses in a row. I'm assuming it's relating to what you're talking about because that's the only time I've ever been able to get somebody to pay me money is when I get 3 yeses in a row, right? So maybe that's along the same lines. But tell me how you ended up getting in touch with somebody. Like this wasn't your course that you wrote the copy for, right? That sold 1,000 copies. It was something else. Can you tell us like how you found that person and things like that?
Yeah. So how that worked was essentially I was actually I was starting to get like kind of known in all these Facebook groups that I was in because that was really working for me. And like I said, Sarah was kind of coaching me on how to, I guess, just like make a name for myself as a copywriter. So after about like, 2 or 3 months of like, I was dropping like really cool, like valuable knowledge bombs in a bunch of, I kind of hate that term, but knowledge bombs, whatever.
Golden nuggets.
Yeah, golden nuggets. Yeah. So I was like just dropping like really like valuable, interesting, like basically sort of the thing that I just shared with you right now, like because thing, just stuff that people would never think about, but it was such a small tweak that they could actually like take action on that and like see a result.
Yeah.
So I was basically doing that like almost every day in like 30 Facebook groups. And it was like a crap ton of work to do that. But after a while, people started, and like actually really not after that long, it literally probably took like 2 months or 2 weeks before people started like actually messaging me. But I would say after about like 2 or 3 months, like someone specific like reached out to me and she was like, hey, Nico, like I've been seeing that you've been posting all this really great like content and it looks like you're a copywriter, like from looking at your Facebook page. I'm launching this like digital course and it's not the first course that I've ever launched. But this time, like she had success in the marketing world before. But like, since I'm actually creating like the content and stuff and like doing a whole bunch of other stuff, like I don't have time to write the copy and like I need to outsource it. Like, are you willing to talk? And I was like, yeah, sure. Right. And so I didn't know anything about like her or who she was or anything, but at this point, like clients were starting to reach out to me like somewhat regularly because I was being active in all these Facebook groups. And so I got on the phone with her. She told me a little bit about her business and like the previous things that she had launched. She had like some course launches in the internet marketing world. And she also had a pretty big email list too. So I knew it was like, and she kind of explained like her expectations of how much, or I don't know if it was how much, but she kind of told me like roughly what she expected the course was going to do. It was going to be like a pretty big launch. And I was like, okay, cool. Like that's exciting. And so like in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, like this could be really cool. Like if it goes well, like she's going to make like a ton of money and like, then like I'll obviously make money too. And like, it's going to be a big win. So I was super excited. We ended up working together. It was one of the biggest, and then at that point we had a phone call and I was like, okay, like I'll send you like a quote. At this point, I didn't know how to do phone sales. I still don't know how to do really, like, phone sales, but like at this point I was like, okay, cool. Well, like I'll send you like, thanks for talking. Like I'll send you like an email with like price quote and like blah, 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 all that like after.
You're just trying to get off the phone. That's what you're doing.
You're yeah, basically. I was like, I don't know what to do. Because this was literally like the first, like, well, maybe not the first, but it was definitely like the biggest, like highest ticket offer that I was going to make.
Yep.
And you can already see like it's kind of like not the good scenario to be in, where you're the one like making the offer to work with them. But anyways, that's where I was at that point. And yeah, so I was gonna work with her for like $8,000. So like write this big long sales page and do like all the email launch sequence for this big, like it was like a $600 course. Mm-hmm. And so she wrote back to me like the next day, and she's like, well, like she's like, it's like a little bit much. I had only really budgeted about like $5,000. And at that point I was just like, I'll take it, like $5,000. Cool. Yeah.
Fine. Perfect. Give me money. I'm in.
Like, let's just do it. Cause like, I knew that it was going to be a big project. And like I said, that was still the biggest copywriting project at that point that I had done. Yeah. And she was just like a really like nice person too. And like, we just like vibed well. And so like, I knew it was going to be a good project overall. And so, yeah, we ended up working together. I had about like 3 weeks to do this big long sales page. And also all the emails for it, like I think like 8 or 10 emails or something. Everything was like long form copy. So it was like really, and I was like nervous too. Cause I was like, I mean, I knew that I was like good at copywriting, but I had never done like one of those big fancy, like long form, nice sales
that you pages. Saw on ClickBank.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay. And like, she had just paid me a bunch of money too. And I was like, I was still at the point where like with money, I was kind of like, I was like, oh God, like, I don't know, like she just paid me this. Like, I don't know if I can handle it. Like, am I going to be able to do this? But like, so basically the pressure was on, and I just spent like a solid, like, I think it was about like 2 or 3 weeks. That was like all the time I had. I was like, okay, like every single day, like I'm reading through like all these, like all the, like the best copywriting examples that I know. And I'm going to be like very structured about this. And like part 1 of the sales page is going to look like this. Part 2 is like this. And then like, basically like go through every single like psychological, like basically like kind of like the phases of buying that people have to go through, like,
yeah,
in order for them to make a purchase decision. Like I was like, okay, I'm going to lay that all out like vertically, and just like, I'm going to like make this shit work. Cause like it has to, like, I just didn't have, there was no other option. Like I just had to make it like really, really freaking good.
So she paid you money, and every day you're reading on this copy, you're trying to figure out the pattern. You're probably like buying the books on copywriting to end up putting yourself in a position where you can figure out what goes where, right? Following some like AIDA pattern or something like that, right?
Yeah, AIDA.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know what it is, right? You write it out. Did she say this is the worst copy in the world? Did she say, I don't know? How was that back and forth trying to make her a happy client?
Yeah, so how it worked, she was a really, I mean, so first off, I'm like, this is kind of like, I'm a pretty humble person, but like that copy, it was like really freaking good. Like I was really proud of it. And like, I knew it was good when I was going to like show it to her, like right on the deadline. So I knew it was really good. I mean, obviously I was like scared, but like, I knew that I had put like my heart and soul into it, and that it was going to do really well. Yeah. Same with all the emails. And she saw everything too. She had been in the internet marketing world like previously. And she was like, Nico, this is like awesome. Like, I'm really excited. Like, great job. Like, let's do this. It's launching like next week. So like, I'll keep you updated. Yeah. And I was like on her email list. So like I was getting the emails that I had written, which was cool.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, like we're doing this. She was like, thanks. Like, yeah, I'll keep you updated like towards the end of it. But for now, like everything's great and we're all good. So at that point I was kind of just like waiting to like watch the actual live emails drip out and then kind of like hear from her at the very end. And I think it was like a 2-week launch period. And her course was $597 at that time. And I didn't know, like she told me she had a big email list. So I did the math and I was like, okay, she's going to make like at least a couple $100,000 probably.
Right.
And so when all was said and done, like the final day before like the cart was going to close, like she like added something to the email that I had written, like the final email. And she added like, right now there's like this many people like in the course. Like she just added that line to the top, and she's like, do you want, like, if you want to join us, like you have to join, like you have to order it now. And I can't remember what the number was, but the number that she wrote on there if you times that by like the 597, it was like $552,000. Literally.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah. And I was like, holy crap, like this made like over $500,000.
Oh my God. The internet is so weird.
I know. And I was like, oh my God, like this is a real thing. And then we like talked like right after that, and she's like, oh my gosh, it went really well. Like this is all great. Thank you so much. Like, let's stay in touch. And and actually this was cool too. She actually invited me to do like a special bonus module of her course on like copy that converts with Nico Moreno. And so like it was like a little bonus module because she was so happy with how the sales copy had come out. She was like, yeah, if you want to do like a little bonus module, like just go ahead, record it, and I'll put it in the end of the course.
That's
so yeah. Cool. So it went really well. Like, thank God. I mean, it had to go really well, and luckily it did.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was kind of like, that was the first time where I realized, holy shit, like you can make a crap ton of money online, like at once, and it's a real thing. And so,
that's
yeah.
absolutely insane. You saw somebody make $500,000 in 2 weeks. That's a $12 million a year business.
Yeah.
That's insane. Okay. So now that we talked about that, which blows my mind, right? So you did something with messenger bots, right? That you use messenger bots and you wrote the copy and you made 12 grand in the first week. I've never asked you about this. So like, what do you mean when you say the secret setup for your high ticket messenger bot sequence that produced 12 grand in sales the first week? Was this for your current client, or was this for something totally separate, or how did this turn out?
Yeah, great question. So this was actually about, I guess fast forward about a year when I started getting more into, like I said at the whole beginning, I guess like the whole beginning portion of my career, I was kind of doing copywriting.
Yeah.
Then I started to get more into kind of becoming a dabbler again. So then I was kind of doing like copywriting. Then I started doing Facebook ads too, because I was like, if I want to start to launch, that really successful launch for that client, that started getting me thinking, okay, like I got to get into like creating courses somehow. Like, I don't know how, but like I got to learn like all the rest of the skills to start creating courses too. So then I started learning Facebook ads. I think that's where you and I connected. I'm pretty sure in Dan Henry's course.
Yep.
And then I started doing like, with that, I kind of started exploring messenger bots too. And so what I did was I ended up using messenger bots to get people registered for one of my webinars.
Yep.
And it was basically like, I didn't really know like what to expect, but I was just really, what it came down to was I was too lazy to write a bunch of emails.
Yep.
To get people to show up to my webinar. So instead I just use a little messenger bot and use like kind of reminders and like really quick storytelling like in the messenger bot beforehand. And I think I got like 63% show up rate to a live webinar, which is like really freaking good. Considering like
aren't webinars like you're jumping up and down if you get like 10% or 20% show up rate?
20% is pretty good with email. So I got like 63% show up rates using messenger bots. And so I was like, holy crap. Like, and I didn't write emails. So there was no email. I knew it was like the messenger bot that was producing those results. So I was like, holy crap, this is incredible. I got all these really cool results for my webinar using messenger bots. And then I just kind of started sharing the results. And then what happened was right at that point, I had then had a different business coach like about a year later.
Right.
So Sarah had we'd worked really well together, but it was kind of like just a time for me to move on because I wanted to get more into like actual like internet marketing, like advertising stuff and like courses and stuff like that. And so then I had I guess like a different coach, a bit more advanced in that. And he had already been doing webinars. I think it was $5,000 to work with him. So a little bit more of an investment, but I was like, okay, like I'm ready to do this. So I paid him, and at that point, he actually had a webinar that was converting for a high ticket offer, and he saw me like say I'll post all this stuff that I was doing with messenger bots for a webinar. And he was like, hey, like, can you do that for my webinar? And like, if you do, like, if it works, then like I'll give you like a really freaking good testimonial, assuming that it works. And then I was like, yeah, sure. So then I did it for him. And it worked like really, really well for him. And he got really good results with it. And he gave me like an incredible testimonial. And that led to a bunch. He actually happened to be in the Russell Brunson inner circle.
No shit.
I don't know if he still is. He might still be, but at that point he was.
Does his name begin with an A?
Yes.
Okay. Can we say his name or no?
Yeah, you could say Adam.
Is Adam Winnig, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Okay, cool. No, because some people are like super like exclusive and confidential. Some people I tell everybody that I work with like bike shops and car washes. Like I say their names if they're in Miami, but for some people they don't want to, so that's why I asked. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, so that's who it was. And then at that point, so I got him like a really cool result. Like he gave me like actually a bunch of really cool testimonials, because we ended up doing like more than just that first one because it was working so well. But that led to a bunch of other clients. Like I don't know, like I honestly don't know what he said or did in the inner circle, but a bunch of people from Russell Brunson's inner circle, like within the next like day, or not, I don't know, maybe not day, but like within the next like week or something, like I had like 5 people like reaching out to me, and they were like, okay, like let's do this for me. Right. So I don't really know like what happened over there in the back of things, but like
it worked, right?
I did something really, And so
is that how you found your 25K client?
So how that worked was that was a little bit, I want to say it was maybe like a month or 2 after.
Gotcha. Okay.
It wasn't necessarily related to that, but then, so fast forward. Okay. So getting into the $25,000 client.
Yeah.
That actually was like for a coach. That was for like coaching with me.
Okay. So those aren't connected or related. I assume that like Adam Wenning was talking about it and then you landed a 25K deal. That's not correct.
It's not, that's not necessarily like, that's not exactly
gotcha.
correct.
Okay,
but,
continue. Yeah.
But they're related, so I'll kind of explain how it worked. So once I got that result for Adam and then a couple other like big clients, then what happened is I was like, okay, I'm gonna start creating like, or I think I had already started to create a Messenger Bots like Facebook group. So I had like a small group of people who were interested in Messenger Bots, learning about them. And I was like, hey guys, like I'm getting cool results, so I'm gonna launch a little course on it. Okay, like who's excited? And then a couple people like were really excited about it, and then I launched a course on it, like the first version of the course, and I got people into it. And so once I had about I don't know, maybe like 15 or 20 people, I raised it up, and like I started doing like webinars for that course.
Yep.
And then at that point, the price of the course was like $9.97.
Yep.
And so, I guess like, Facebook is kind of like a noisy place. Like you never really know exactly how someone finds out about you, but like one way or another, like this one guy, like he came on board, he bought the course, he bought the bots course. And then he also reached out to me and he was like, hey, like, do you do like consulting or anything? Like I kind of need help with like setting up my funnels. Like I'm kind of newer to ClickFunnels. But he had already kind of like proven that he was, actually, I think he might've reached out about consulting. Yeah, no, never mind. He reached out about consulting. Like that was the first thing. Then we did funnel. I sold him like a $900 like consulting package, like to just go through his funnel really quickly. And then at the end, he was like asking, like, he was like, hey, like you also do Messenger Bot stuff, right? Like you have a course on that. And I was like, yeah, it's $9.97. And he was like, okay, I want that. And so he bought that.
Beautiful.
And then it was actually kind of interesting. He started, getting into the whole like ClickFunnels and like online marketing world. And then there's all these coaches out there. And he was like, hey, like, like I've worked with you before. Like, do you have any recommendations as far as like, coaches? Because I'm starting to look into like, there's like Dan, or I don't want to name other people, but there's like all these potential big marketers who like have coaching programs. I don't know what to do. Like, can you help like guide me? And then I was like, yeah, well, like, so here's kind of like, here's what I've had an experience with this person and this person, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like sharing kind of my feedback.
Yeah.
I didn't really like necessarily at this point, like, how do I put it? Like, I didn't have an intention of like becoming anyone's coach really at that point. But then it kind of like went back and forth and back and forth. And then I was kind of just like, why don't I do it? Like I could just do it for you. Like we've basically been doing that anyways. So are you interested in like hearing more about that? And then he was like, yeah, like let's get on a call. And so basically how that worked. And that's kind of how it worked. It happened organically. He had purchased some other offers for me like shortly beforehand.
Yeah.
And then he was like looking for kind of the next step. And then, we ended up going into like a $25,000.
That's crazy.
coaching for them.
That's so cool. I'm so happy for you and your client too. Like both of you realizing, oh yeah, it probably should have been me the whole time, right? Like,
yeah, I know. It's literally like it's one of those like it's like one of those stories. It's like the whole time the answer was right in front of you type thing.
Oh my God, right?
Yeah.
So we're coming up to like a solid hour, and Nico's done a really good job of like storytelling, which is absolutely really, really cool. You started off graduating from USC, had the job that you hated, tried quitting, then really quit, had a side gig making money online using Kindles, had 2 startup jobs that you hated again. Go to Japan, you have no other options, and you pay a business coach $600 a month. Immediately make your money back, and you're getting to a point where you're making $2,000 or $3,000 a month. Not great money, but good enough to not be starving. Mm-hmm. You're getting results. You're talking about your work. You're telling the world the results that you're getting without trying to be an expert. You're just saying, hey, my name is Nico. I'm failing forward. This is the stuff that's happening. And you're putting little tidbits of like, hey, I learned this thing in a couple other groups. And people start reaching out, including somebody who's launching a course that sells $500,000 of stuff because of your emails and because of your sales copy. From there, you end up meeting people who say, hey, could you do something similar for me? You say, sure, how about a messenger bot sequence? That person is in Russell Brunson's inner circle. More people find out about you. Around the same time, one of your clients, through the serendipity of the universe, says, how about I pay you $25,000 to coach me through a similar journey? Is that about right? Like,
yeah. It's pretty much
Nico's life. 3 sentences are left, right? Like, how crazy is that? What we're gonna so Nico's offered, by the way, like, since you're at the end of the webinar or end of our interview or whatever, if you genuinely believe that Nico can help you figure out the next step of you and your agency journey, whether it comes to messenger bots, copywriting, webinars, course sales, or anything like that, he's a featured and flawed human being, openly and transparent. Like, his first course sucked. His next course was okay. His third course sold $500,000, and he's closing clients at $25,000 a pop. If you want to get on the phone with Nico and spend 15 minutes, we're going to pick 3 real-life human beings to do so. So hashtag Nico my face, and then Nico and I will pick 3 people to get on the phone with Nico, either as a group call or 3 separate one-on-ones. So if you genuinely believe that Nico can help you figure out the next step of your journey, or if you want to pick his brains a little bit for 15 minutes at a time, just hashtag Nico my face, and we'll take it from there. But I do want to say, Nico, you've got experience with webinars, right? You've got experience with copy. You've got experience with messenger bots. Is there one thing that people keep messing up time and time and time again that you're seeing people mess up when it comes to their sales letters or trying to convert or anything like that? Like, just one piece of information where you're like, if anybody was just, if they weren't watching the whole webinar, just watch the last 10 seconds. Like, what's that one thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say the one thing that people repeatedly ask me about, and kind of like the number one, I guess, mindset block that's holding them back is, about messenger bots and like selling their other products. And they're kind of just like, I see everyone out there like talking about messenger bots and like not, or how do I put this? I see all these people out there doing messenger bots. Like, I know I need to learn them, but like, I don't know where to start. And literally everyone just thinks that they're super technical. Like, they're not.
No.
Like, if you commit 5 minutes, like literally just 5 minutes, that's it. If you can make a commitment to go into ManyChat for 5 minutes, like, you'll figure it out. I promise. That's the secret.
What I discovered with ManyChat is, like, you'll see people bragging how complicated their flows are. And I'm like, that's the most intimidating thing I've ever seen. Ever, right? Mm-hmm. I treat bots just like I do email. That's a little bit more advanced. And the only reason I got through that is by doing what you just said. Just going to ManyChat and trying to figure out and clicking all stuff. Don't do flows. Don't do segmentations. Focus on broadcast. And broadcast is simply sending it out just like email. Mm-hmm. Then once you figure that out, you can have more fun stuff with like URLs or like widgets on the side. That's where it gets complicated. But I guess the number one thing is just do it, right? Like, that was your challenge, just doing it and less dabbling, right?
I would say cashvertising. I can't remember the author's name right now, but just Google it. Like it's the first one that'll come up. It's called cashvertising.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Cashvertising.
It's not really even about, it's not about NLP, but it's more about just the psychology of sales and marketing.
Tell you what, this is an old school
It's
book.
so good. It's so, yeah, it's really old school. Like it's super old, but like it's so good. Also, the Boron Letters by Gary, or by it's maybe not by Gary Halbert. It might be like by his son.
Yeah.
But it was like stuff that was from Gary Halbert and like published, I think, after he died. So I think that's why it's by his son. But look up Boron Letters. As for actual NLP, I mean, I don't know. I don't have any recommendations on.
Cashvertising is good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say check that out.
And it reads very much like a Dan Kennedy letter. It's like 100 secrets to making more money with advertising. You're like, oh, that's how Dan Kennedy got me. Like when you read Dan Kennedy's letters, like they are a blueprint for psychological success. Like the way your eyes bounce, like it always bounces to a next step. And like when you half read a sentence and skip around, it's like, holy crap, it lines up with everything where my eyes are going. And I must have stared at the Dan Kennedy letter like 18 hours straight trying to figure out what the hell is going on here. Like, why do I keep looking back at this letter? Like, I'm not reading it. I'm just enthralled with my eyeballs, right? And I'll bet you cashvertising goes into the exact reasons why, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, love that book.
One last question is, oh man, I just lost it. I scrolled too fast. How did you go from 0 to 10K?
Like the very first time, yeah. So I mean, I was with copywriting. It was really more. I mean, the first thing that I did before I really had any success was I hired a coach.
Yep.
She literally helped me make like about $2,000 to $3,000 in the first month. And like I said, I mean, like you had already said, Jeff, is like it's kind of that mindset block where you're like, okay, like I know that I'm going to be able to get to this next level. Like I want to get to the 10K. I have to pay someone like whatever, like 5K or like 2K or 1K to get to the 10K. Like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
But it's like you have to do that, and then you'll get to that next step.
Yeah.
It's like it's literally like it can kind of feel like the scariest thing in the world, but if you have a good vibe off of that person and like the person is a trustworthy person.
Yeah.
I mean, like I would always say also like go with your gut. If something feels like it's probably like if the person doesn't feel like it's going to be a good fit and they're not actually going to get to help you, or they're not actually going to be able to help you do that, then that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying like go against your gut, but I'm saying when it feels like, okay, you're really like about to do this, but you do have to put up that investment before like you're actually going to learn how to make, you know, the return on the investment. Like those are the moments where like
where you should just do it,
where like changes are made in your life.
It's that forced transformation. And so what you're saying is that the way you got from 0 to 10K was by paying somebody, a coach, to show you how to do it. She immediately got you $2,000 to $3,000. And then was there like other specific steps, like every day you're going to 4 or 5 target client groups, dropping tidbits, telling the world how good you are, things like that? Or was it just following what the coach is saying?
Yeah. So the first thing, I would say the first thing is like developing the belief that it was possible. I knew it was possible. I didn't know how I was going to do it. And then it was the coach putting down the investment. She showed me kind of the way. And then after that, it was kind of just like being consistent about going into these Facebook groups. Literally, like it's more effort than I even am willing to put in like right now in my life. Like it's just at that point I was like every day I'm going to be posting in like 4 or 5 of these groups, and I would like kind of rotate. And yeah, it was like every single day. But then like literally within 2 or 3 weeks, like people started to like within these big Facebook, like 80,000 person Facebook groups, like they'd be like, oh, Nico's like the copywriting person. Like go to him.
Isn't that crazy? Like you don't have to be an expert. Like I fundamentally believe you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to solve people's problems in exchange for money. Like I'm not the best Facebook ads guy ever. I'm really not. If there was a list, I'd be dead at the bottom. But I'm the only Facebook guy out there that will show you what to do, how to do it, explain to do it, and offer to solve those problems and more in exchange for money. And that's a function of me telling the world about my results. And that's how I got my start with Get Clients, got my start with the MEC, got my start with Chamber of Commerce's in Miami, Florida. Just going to people and telling them like, here's the results that I got. And here's proof. And I'm not a scammer, right? Things like that. But this has been absolutely fantastic, Nico. I think it's been awesome watching your journey up and up and up. I'm super glad we're in the same program, and you're going to make an F ton of money. And we're going to take you to the next level, which is really darn cool. And a whole bunch of people hashtag Nico my face, like, which is pretty darn cool. But we're going to bring this sucker to an end. It's been just over an hour. It's been Nico. It's been an absolute pleasure. Don't hang up, but I'm going to bring the sucker to a close. So thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. And thanks to everybody who's watching. Really appreciate it.